Resource management remains to be a significant problem most countries still struggle to deal with. Despite the strides our governments have made with regards to environmental legislation, we still overlook how much our actions can greatly affect it, and this lack of awareness amongst people is evident seen in these practices. Without change, neither will our progress on sustainable development. My name is Rai, and in this lecture, we'll be covering how various human activities can ruin the environment along with its natural features, and how we, as responsible human beings, can implement healthier resource practices to contribute towards sustainability.
I've learned a valuable phrase during my time here on Earth. Our wisest long term investment is not in the dirty, polluting fossil fuels from the past, but in the clean energy of the future by London Blue. So, whenever we hear the term energy, what do we think of? Electricity? Well, there is more to that. So let's dive a bit deeper. On the surface, you see electricity, but underneath, you see the sun, the wind, the water, gasoline, nuclear energy, and lastly, fossil fuel. But not all of these resources are really as healthy as you'd like to think of, mainly fossil fuels. These are the type of resources that produce a lot of electricity, but it also results in a lot of gas emissions, which contributes to our atmosphere's toxicity. So, it also contributes to our environmental challenges such as climate change, land degradation, and water pollution. So, for our children and for our planet, I wish to spread this speech to others. As they give in this speech, they also give it to others, and vice versa, until everyone unites to save our resources, to use better resources, and to save our planet.
To raise more awareness, we'll take a look at how these practices have exacerbated the Earth's condition. We've mentioned before that fossil fuels emit greenhouse gases to the atmosphere, but along with these gases, heavy metal pollutants are also being released. You see, fossil fuels come from deep under the surface, and during formation, chances are that they absorb the chemicals from the surrounding sediment. That's why if coal, natural gas, and crude oil is burned, they break down to harmful contaminants that can then spread to land, rivers, sea, whatnot. Why is this concerning? Let me demonstrate. In a thriving farm, a cow is proudly eating grass. Nothing to be concerned about, right? No. Little did the cow know there was a busy power plant burning stacks upon stacks of coal 6 to 7 kilometers away from her farm, unaware that a dash of metal pollutants had made its way to the grass she's ingested. It then accumulates in her muscle tissues, and exposure to these chemicals poses numerous health risks involving weakened immune system and even cancer. And considering we harvest these animals, I think we can guess what happens next. This is bioaccumulation, and there are multiple scenarios where it happens. Traces of mercury gets flown to a river, a fish inhales and its gills. A deer takes a couple sips of that river and it gets devoured by a lion. It's an ongoing cycle where accumulating pollutants in the bodies of countless animals, and if this practice is maintained, our livestock's meat in the future could reach levels of mercury similar to those found in sharks. From heavy metals to microplastics, pollutants have not only significantly affected the environment, but also the food chain.
Now that we've seen how energy impacted our future, let's move on to another resources. Water. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You wake up one morning, turn on the faucet and nothing happens. No water to drink, no water to cook, and no water to even wash your face. Scary, right? Well, believe it or not, this is already happening in some parts of the world. The truth is, water is the very thing that keeps us alive is running out. Not because it was disappearing, but because how we use and wasted it. Every single day, clean water is wasted and polluted. Think about this. We let faucets drip, we throw trash into rivers, and we forget that every drop matters. The problem is, without water, there's no food, no life, and no health. This isn't just about environmental issue, this is our survival. But still, we can still make a change. We can save water by turning off taps properly, fixing leaks, reusing water when possible, and keeping our rivers and seas clean. But this may seem small, but millions of people doing these things does really make a difference. Protecting water is protecting life itself. So I want to ask you, are you wasting water or are you saving it? Every drop counts. Our future depends on it.
But water isn't just about what we drink or use at home. It's deeply connected to everything we rely on. Agriculture, energy, industry, none of this can function without water. Did you know that it takes over 2,000 liters of water to produce just 1 kilogram of rice? Or that making one cotton shirt can use up to 2,700 liters of water? That's nearly what one person drinks in 2.5 years. This invisible water called virtual water is hidden in the products that we use every day. So even when we're not running a tap, our choices still impacts water use around the world. And let's not forget climate change. As global temperature rise, drought becomes longer and rainfall becomes more unpredictable. Entire communities are being forced to migrate because rivers have dried up, their crops have failed. This is not just a future problem, it's happening now. So what can we do beyond our homes? We can support local farmers who use sustainable irrigation, reduce food waste because wasted food means wasted water, and think twice before buying things we don't need. We need to treat water like the precious resource it truly is. Water doesn't belong to just one person, one country, or one generation. It's our shared responsibility. Let's not wait till the last drop to act. The time to protect water is now. Because when we protect water, we protect our future.
And now, from water that quenches our thirst, let's talk about the ground beneath our feet, soil, the foundation of agriculture and food security for our people.
Good day, everyone. Today I will talk about soil. Many people think soil is just a dirt, but it is actually very important for us humans because it is the foundation of life on land and it provides nutrients plants needs to grow, which in turn supports animals and humans. Without healthy soil, we cannot have a secure food production or balanced environment. Unfortunately, soil is under threat due to climate change, pollution, deforestation, overfarming, and many more, which leads to soil degradation and erosion. That is why sustainable management of soil is important. We help protect soil by doing simple things like planting trees, organic farming, crop rotation, and planting cover crops. That helps soil stay healthy. By valuing and caring for our soil resources, we help protect and secure our food, water, environment, and future.
Information that I have gathered about soil resources. So, first, what is soil resources in the Philippines? The Philippine soil is a gift, but it is a gift we must protect by practicing the sustainable agriculture, supporting reforestation, and respecting the land. Moreover, 71.7% of land, or over 0.21.4 million hectares, lies between slopes between 8% and more than 50%, making them highly vulnerable to erosion. Soil resources are very important because they support our farmers in rice, corn, sugarcane, and coconut, and many other crops that feed our people and strengthen our economy. Also help maintain our forests, filter water, and provide livelihoods for millions of Filipinos. Finally, the soil may look simple, but it's one of the most valuable resources. Without healthy soil, there will be no food security, no durable environment in our country, and no future for for agriculture. This is why we should learn to take care of it. However, when we protect our soil, we cannot ignore another challenge that directly affects it and our environment. Now, let's talk about how proper waste management shapes the health of our planet.
Good day, everyone. My name is Nathan John Ibanez. Today, we're going to talk about waste management. Do you know the world produces over 2 billion tons of waste each year? Much of it ends up in our oceans, rivers, and even the air we breathe. Waste management is all about how we handle our trash, from collecting it, to sorting it, to finally disposing of it in the safest way possible. It includes steps like waste collection, transportation, segregation, treatment, recycling, and proper disposal. Waste management is the proper way of handling garbage through the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Reduce is using only what you need. Reuse items instead of throwing them away. And recycle to turn old materials into new products. When we manage waste properly, we keep our environment clean, protect our health, and save resources for future generations. Waste management isn't just the government's job, it's everyone's responsibility. If each of us takes responsibility by reducing waste, reusing items, and recycling whenever possible, we can make a big difference from our community and our planet. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I am Samantha Ilinon, and today I will be talking about waste management. Let me first introduce our topic. What is waste management anyway? Waste management is the process of gathering, processing, recycling, and getting rid of various waste products in order to lessen the impact of trash on the environment. The collection, removal, processing, and disposal of materials deemed waste are all included in the waste management concept. Waste materials are typically produced by human activities and might be solid, gaseous, liquid, or even dangerous. Developed countries have traditionally burned their waste in incinerators or dumped it in landfills. There are some serious environmental issues with both of these choices. Therefore, waste separation from the household level, proper storage, more efficient waste collection system, and sustainable recovery and disposal practices are identified as needed processes in the study area. Considering the nature and components of waste generated by household and business places, the waste reduction, reuse, recycling, and composting processes would be more suitable in managing the challenge.
In conclusion, one of the main problems that we are facing right now is not in the environmental or the individual sustainability, but it is our collective responsibility in regards to our natural resources, such as energy, water, soil, waste management. The given speeches were enlightening to note about how human activities such as deforestation, pollution, and overconsumption threatens our availability of our natural resources. So, with awareness and with responsible choices, now we can undo the damage. Do not wait for scarcity to teach us a lesson. Let's protect the earth by acting now for ourselves and for our future generations. Sustainability is not just a theory, it is a pledge.